1861 and died on August 7, 1941. Now, here's something about the poet. Rabindranath Tagore was born in Calcutta on 6th of May 1861. He received his education at his own home and later at University College, London. So he studied at home and then he went to university in London. He was a poet, dramatist, novelist, short story writer, a philosopher and a nation builder. So he was a man of versatile character and many talents. He founded a school at Shantiniketan in West Bengal, which later expanded into an international university known as the Vishwa Bharati. He is the author of India's national anthem. We all sing that every day at school. That is Jana Gana Mana. So he wrote our national anthem. From time to time, he participated in the Indian nationalist movement, though in his own non-sentimental and visionary way. So he had his own way of fighting for freedom. And Gandhiji, the political father of modern India, was his devoted friend and gave him the title of Gurudev. So it was Gandhiji who called him Gurudev. It is said that Tagore gave Gandhiji the title of Mahatma. So Tagore gave Gandhiji this title of Mahatma. People say this. Some people do not agree, yet mostly it is agreed that Tagore gave him Gandhiji the title of Mahatma. Tagore was knighted by the ruling British government in 1915, but so he was knighted. You know, knighted when you add the title of Sir before your name, like Sir Don Bradman, Sir Vivian Richards. So he was given this knighthood, but that is in 1915. At that time he was an Indian and he got knighted, which was a big achievement for an Indian. But within a few years he resigned the honor as a protest against British policies in India. So what did he do? That early 1915 he got it, but within a few years time he relinquished, means he just gave back this honor. He said, I don't want this honor of your British honor of knighthood, because he was protesting against their policies in India. So that was his way of fighting for freedom for India. Author of the profoundly sensitive, fresh and beautiful verse of Gitanjali, he became in 1913 the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Another great achievement of Gurudev was that he wrote a beautiful and sensitive set of poems, and he named that set of poems as Gitanjali. That is an offering of songs. That is what Gitanjali means. So in 1913 he got the Nobel Prize for that, for his poems, and especially that collection of poems, Gitanjali. And so he got the Nobel Prize in Literature, and it was a big achievement because he was a non-European, and being an Indian he got this Nobel Prize in Literature. He wrote musical dramas. So he did not just write poems, he wrote musical dramas, dance dramas, essays of all types, travel diaries, and two autobiographies, one in his middle years and the other shortly before his death in Calcutta on 7th of August 1941. So he wrote so many things. Tagore also left numerous drawings and paintings. So he was not only a writer of poems, he wrote musical dramas, he wrote dance dramas, and essays he wrote, and travel diaries, and he was also an artist. He was a painter. So he had many drawings and paintings and songs for which he wrote music himself. So he wrote songs and he wrote the music. So he was a musician as well. He created a new form of music which is known as Rabindra Sangeet. So if you go to West Bengal, you will hear a lot of Rabindra Sangeet in West Bengal. Now we will go on to the poem. This is about the poem. The name of the poem is The Last Bargain. A bargain is an agreement which both parties promise to do something for each other. Someone is looking for work, waiting to be hired. He strikes a bargain, but thinks it is worthless. He tries twice again, but doesn't like either. Finally, in the last bargain, when he is hired for nothing, whatever, he is happy as never. So, is in nothing whatsoever, so he is happy as never before. What is the bargain and why is it the best? So, there is a bargain, bargain. There is an agreement, a deal between people. So, someone is looking for work and he meets several people who are offering him work, but what appeals to him at the end is something very different, and he's not getting anything material or no money in return, yet he is very happy. This is the poem. Come and hire me, I cried, while in the morning I was walking on the stone-paved road. Sword in hand, the king came in his chariot. He held my hand and said, I will hire you with my power. But his power counted for naught, and he went away. Naught means nothing. In the heat of the midday, the houses stood with shut doors. I wandered along the crooked lane. An old man came out with his bag of gold. He pondered and said, I will hire you with my money. He weighed his coins one by one, but I turned away. Pondered means thought, and wandered means going around aimlessly. It was evening. The garden hedge was all aflower. The fair maid came out and said, I will hire you with a smile. Her smile paled and melted into tears, and she went back alone in the dark. So there was a hedge. Hedge means garden hedge, the boundary, green boundary that people grow. So that is a hedge, and it was full of beautiful flowers. So there came a beautiful girl, and she said, I will hire you with a smile. But soon her smile also went away. Paled means faded, and she was in tears, and she went back. The sun glistened on the sand, and the sea waves broke waywardly. A child sat playing with shells. He raised his head and seemed to know me, and said, I hire you with nothing. From henceforward that bargain struck in child's play made me a free man. So the child was playing there. Glistened means was shining, and the sea waves broke waywardly means here and there. And the child looked at him. He said, henceforward, from now on, we had a bargain, we had an agreement. And the child did not give anything in return, but it made me free, a free man. Now let us understand this poem one by one. In the first stanza, the poem, The Last Bargain, opens up with the speaker walking on the stone-paved road and asking out to hire him. So he is asking people to give him some work. The first one who wants to hire him was a king. He came in his chariot and held out his hand to the speaker, telling him what he wants to hire him, that he wants to hire him with his power. However, the king's power counted for nothing, and he leaves the place in his chariot. So the king offered him some work, and he said, I will give you some work. I have power. I'll give you power. And the man who is asking for work, who wants to be hired, he did not like it. He did not like the idea, and he turned away, and the king went his way. During the midday, there was an old man with a bag of gold. The speaker wandered along a twisted lane comprised of houses with shut doors. So there were houses with shut doors, and the road was very twisted. The old man tells the speaker that he would hire him with his money. So there was this old man on his hot midday, and then he is on the road and he has a bag of gold with him. And he says, I will give you all this gold, I'll give you money. He measured the gold coins which he carried in his bag, but the speaker rejects all his money. So he looked at his money, he counted his money, but the speaker says he does not like to have all that money too. The speaker turns away all the money because money will soon be spent and money cannot buy us everlasting happiness. So earlier the king's power also will not give him everlasting peace and happiness. And here money also, money is spent, it goes away. Like a king dies and his power goes away, in the same manner, the man will also lose his power one day. So that will leave him without nothing. And again, this money will leave him without nothing. It will be spent. So he will not get true happiness with money. Third stanza. In the evening, the garden fences were full of flowers. A fair maid, there should be a maid. Maid means girl, M-A-I-D. A fair maid comes out and tells the speaker that she would hire him with a smiling face. So the fair girl, the young girl says, she is very beautiful and she has a smiling face. And she says, I will give you all the love and beauty that you want. But her smile faded away and she melted into tears and returns into the dark, leaving the speaker alone. So beauty also fades away. You see, that is momentary happiness. Not even human love can stay forever, and so that also doesn't give you everlasting happiness. So and soon her smile also faded away and she was in tears. So that is not true happiness. Beauty never gives you true happiness. Beauty is only superficial, it is not deep, so it doesn't give you true happiness. So the woman's beauty is also not enough for him. The last stanza. Finally, the bargain is struck by a child who hires the speaker with nothing. Now there's a child who hires the speaker and he has nothing to give him, no money to give him. He has no power, he has no money, no bag of gold, and he has no beauty there. So he says, while the sun was glowing on the sands, it was glistening, remember? The sun was glowing on the sands and the sea waves lashed along the shores. A child was seen playing with shells. So there's a child happy. He's playing there near at the seashore, near the sea, and he's enjoying that play. The child raised his head and smiled as if he already knew the speaker. So the child looked at the speaker and he smiled. The bargain of the child makes the speaker a free man. The child said, I had nothing to give you. He just had his good innocent company. Therefore, power, money, or lust could not free the speaker, but power of innocence had the ability to break away his bondage. Whatever fears in life he had, they were all taken away, removed by innocence. The child had the power to enslave him. The child made him his friend. He enslaved him. He was his captive, means he loved the child so much now. He was happy to be with him. Now, how can we conclude this poem? The Last Bargain by Tagore is a 16 lines poem composed in blank verse, meaning no rhyme. There is no rhyme scheme, conveying a strong message well needed for the materialistic world that no power, money, or physical attraction can make us happy. Now, in this materialistic world, materialistic means everybody is running after money, power, or physical attraction. People are running after that, and so the poet wants to tell us, Rabindranath Tagore wants to tell us that all these things are meaningless. Simplicity and innocence are the most supreme of all. What is the supreme thing in this world is simplicity. Be simple. You need not have flashing clothes. You need not have physical beauty. What do you require? You need the depth of your soul. You need a clear soul, a clear conscience. And so innocence is the most supreme thing. God expects us to be as innocent as a child. So if when we are as innocent as a child, that gives true peace and happiness. So when we will get true peace and happiness, when we are acceptable in the sight of God. And what does He expect us to be? He expects us to be as innocent and pure hearted as a little child. I hope you like the poem, children. I'll give you questions and answers. So please go to the uh, assignment document and you can understand it. So you will write all those questions and answers. Take care, children. I hope you enjoyed doing this poem with me. Goodbye.